Hi guys, this is Katja with Creators Image Studio. Welcome back to my channel. I thought I would give you an update of what I've been creating the last couple of months. I have to say most of my projects have been cards, but I thought maybe I can still give you some inspiration for your own craft projects and also a couple of tutorials for the techniques that I've been using. So this will be, I think, a small series on my channel, maybe 2 or 3 videos in total, or who knows how long I will be able to keep up. I'm very busy at work and at the office, so I'm not spending as much time on my hobby, alas. But still, I'm trying to share as much as I can with you all. So let's start with the first batch of cards. That is this video. So I've been creating several cards. Most of those, I have to say, have been tea cards, cards with which I am sending tea to some friends. But let's start off with 2 simple layered cards for someone's birthday. The first one, very simple, but in my defense, that was for a man. And I am of the conviction that men don't like too much fuss on their cards. So not too girly colors and also not very bulky embellishments, bows and roses and fuss, let's say. So I'm always trying to keep it simple, pleasing to the eye nevertheless, and in muted colors or darker colors, or maybe a nature theme like this one. So it's easy, it's simple, and the plus for you guys in terms of inspiration is that it is easy to make. You are very quick, especially if you only do the front like I have with this card. Then you can do it maybe within 20 to 30 minutes. So if you're in a hurry, this is your go-to. Another example of this kind of card, so the fairly simple layered card, is this one. This, of course, is for a woman. Much brighter colors, much more girly colors. Also more fuss, more embellishments, more bulk on the front, but still pretty simple in its design. It's basically a very colorful, flowery piece of paper. So that is the whole background paper that you see there. And then taking the other side of that same paper, because it was double-sided, stamping a sentiment on it and cutting around it to make your sentiment label, also very easy. And then add some flowers and leaves to lift up that sentiment label. So that is basically what I did there. Also just the front of the card, so no inside, no backside, to keep it quick, a quick scrap as I call them. So within 20-30 minutes you can do such a card. Then for some tea cards, I've made several the last couple of weeks or months even. So let's start off with this one. This is with the same papers that I used for the previous card that I just showed you. This is Graphic 45, by the way, the Birdwatcher collection, but only 1 sheet of double-sided paper. So not the entire collection. I've given you this tip before. You don't have to buy complete collections, just pick 1 or 2 sheets that you love and use them for your card. Very nice, and you're done. So this one, the front, fairly simple again. This time 2 layers of background paper and then lots of flowers and a sentiment piece. So far so good, nothing new there. But on the inside I did a belly band, but with a broad piece of ribbon. So you've all seen the paper belly bands probably, but did you realize that you can also use other materials to create belly bands? So in my case, I used a piece of ribbon. This is a broad piece of ribbon. You could use smaller pieces, but I think because it's ribbon, it's not paper, you will still have to have some tension to keep hold of the thing that you're putting behind the belly band. In my case, a bag of tea. So I chose a broader band. I think the broader your belly band is, the more it functions like a pocket actually. So you have more grip, as it were. So that is why I chose this. Also, it looks great. This is a semi-transparent ribbon, and the color, of course, coordinates well with the papers, as you can see. Now, with the tea bag, this is a fresh bag of tea. So I have the empty bag and then I fill it with some fresh tea. So you have these strings here. So what you see here in the picture next to me is that I also die cut a little label and tied it to the tea bag, the string, so that you have an actual tea label. And I stamped it on one side with I love tea, I think the sentiment was, and on the other side I wrote down the flavor of the tea, because the friend that received the tea doesn't know what this is if I don't write it down on a label. So That is an idea for you as well. And here is the back. This is a way for me to use up my scraps. I apparently only had one piece of paper left, so it wasn't enough to cover the entire back. But I thought, that's okay. I'm not afraid of the emptiness. So this is an idea for you hopefully as well. And then the recipient can put the card, stand it like that on her shelf or some such. So that is one idea for you to send tea. Use a piece of ribbon as a belly band instead of paper. Another idea is the corner pocket. This is the card, but let me show you the front and then the inside. The front here, again, simple layers, and then the sentiment is lifted up with some dimensional tape. I created this pattern paper because it is actually mixed media. I spritzed and sprayed with my spray inks and created these inked backgrounds, cut them to size, the size that I wanted, and use it like this. So you don't have to buy design paper, but you can create it with your own materials. I used inks, but you can use paints or pencils or whatever else you have in your stash. So use your materials, guys. This is just one idea for you. Let's look at the inside using the same piece of that inked paper that I had left, and I simply created a corner pocket. Now, if you want me to do a tutorial on how to create these corner pockets, let me know in the comments, because today's tutorial will not be for this corner pocket, but for another technique that I'm showing you hereafter. But if you want me to do a corner pocket tutorial, I can see if I can fit that in my future videos. So here it is. I tucked the tea bag simply into the pocket. I did a little stamp, as you can see as well. I think it says tea for two. So I left the entire inside of the card blank and simply used just the corner pocket as an embellishment. So there is a quick idea for you as well. Just do the front of the card and a simple corner pocket inside, and that's it, you're done. So all quick ideas, well, fairly quick. I'm not counting the time it takes to create the background with the sprays, because I always try to compartmentalize, difficult word for me. So I'm spraying as one project, and then days later or weeks later or months later, I'm thinking, what do I have in my pre-sprayed stash? And then I take out these papers and make this card. So simply making the card is perhaps 20 minutes. If you count the spraying, it's more, of course. Now, another different technique to send out tea. I told you this is going to be about tea cards and mostly. Another idea that I had is this card. Now, first off, let me show you the front of the card first. To start off, this is the paper collection that I use. This is from AliExpress, so I don't know if they still have it. I couldn't tell you what's it called because it says paper designer, but I don't think AliExpress does brands. So I'm just saying you can't find this in your typical scrap design paper stores. I got this from AliExpress. Anyway, I created several projects with it. This card is one of them. So I did the front, nothing special there except it looks nice. But then the inside, that is where the technique comes in. I used Velcro this time. So take a look at what I did. So what you see here on the left inside panel of this card is a stamp that I did of some suitcases. That is because this card was meant as a welcome home card when my friend would return home from her vacation. So hence the suitcases. And I thought I could use an actual label piece from this collection, which had some push-out labels. I thought that could be a nice suitcase label, as it were. So I chose a piece of Velcro in approximately that color scheme and stuck it onto the label. Now the label I attached with the brad, so you could actually move the label around like an actual suitcase label. So that was fun, I thought. And then I took the other piece of Velcro, put it on a tea bag, and then simply stuck the tea onto the suitcase label. And that is what you see here. That is a great, fun way, I think, to send someone tea, and original, even if I say so myself. Now the other side, the right inside panel, you can see I simply used a label actually from this collection, but first did some stamping again. So some label stamps, and then over that the sentiment piece, easy, and then the back, also easy. So the technique here was a piece of Velcro to attach your tea bag to your card, and instead of simply putting the Velcro smack dab in the middle of your inside panel and no decorations, which would be a bit random, I think, I sought to incorporate it in some kind of theme, some kind of illustration. I think it worked. Number 4 of the techniques, or was it 5? I didn't count, did you? Let me know in the comments how many I did. This is more of a booklet. Now, also a simple idea, but I thought I might show it because what the tip here actually is, use your cut apart sheets. Many of those cut apart sheets, those typical ones in the 12 by 12 inch collections, they come in ATC size, so 3 by 4 inches. And often in those collections you have 2 or even 3 of those, so identical ones. Why do they do that? I don't understand, because how many times can I use such a sentiment or such a cut apart? I don't know. But here's an idea for you. Instead of just simply using them as tags into your projects, which is also always a possibility, this is a way to use them as well. So turn them into booklets. So what you have to do is cut, of course, your booklets in an ATC size. So that is what I've done here. Especially on the outside, on the front, you can see an example. This is a cut apart ATC sized sentiment piece that I cut from my design paper and fit to size the booklet that I created. This is a double gusseted booklet, as you can see. It had to be because I wanted to fit some tea inside, so it had to have a gusset, and in my case 2, because I wanted to be a gatefold closure, so it had to have 2 gussets. You can see that on the pictures as well. And then I did a belly band again. So a belly band, this time a paper belly band to hold the tea actually. So a simple way to do it. I did a ribbon closure, but you can use a magnet closure with a closure piece and it would click close. That is also an idea. So the idea here is 1, make a booklet with a belly band to hold your tea, and 2, fit it to ATC size so you can use up your ATC sized cut aparts. And then the final idea is to have your tea bag in a pocket, but to have an integrated pocket. So not a separate piece of paper that you fold into a pocket and then stick to your card, but cut the pocket as you cut the base of the card. So make it 1 cut piece, fold the pocket, close the pocket. So that way you won't have any edges on the bottom inside of the pocket, so your tea won't snag. That is what you see here. This is a very, very simple one that I didn't even mat. I simply stamped a sentiment on the pocket, as you can see here, and left the inside as is. I also kept the front of the card very simple, so that is not the point of this idea. The point is that pocket. So I thought it might be fun for you if I were to do a tutorial on that pocket technique. So what I have done is actually filmed a tutorial for 2 cards. One resembles the card that you just saw, so with a pocket integrated into the bottom half of the card on the inside and no matting, just on the front. And then the second card I did to give you some inspiration, hopefully, on how you can vary, how you can riff on that theme and vary your card. So I used slightly different papers and I still integrated the pocket, but not on the bottom this time, but on the side. So those are the 2 tutorials that you will find now. And then I'll get back to you with some closing remarks. All right, here we go. So take a piece of 9.5 inches by 6 1/8 of an inch, score in half and score at 4 3/4 of an inch. As you can see here, cut away the right bottom panel and turn around your paper, start scoring 3/4 of an inch and do that 3 times on the left and the right. Cut on the score lines the way I indicate and choose a stamp. Turn around your pocket, don't forget that, turn around your paper and then stamp the sentiment of your choosing. I'm using archival ink here. Then if you want, ink around the edges, if that is your taste. I always like that effect. Now fold on the score lines and add some double-sided tape to the glue strips. Then fold your pocket closed and close it actually. But first, taper the corners, of course, then remove the tape backings. Fold your pocket closed and close it. Now you have a pocket with some harmonica folds, so you can actually stuff some tea in there. Now fold your card in half on the score line and ink around all of the edges. Then mat and decorate the card. And there you go. I also used some glitter glue, some stickles to highlight some parts of the paper, but that is of course always optional. Don't forget to put your tea inside. And there you go guys, that is your first tea card with an integrated harmonica pocket. Now for this second card I used double-sided paper, so no cardstock at all. And of course I had to make up my mind what was going to be the front of the card. And that made it that I had to fold it horizontally instead of vertically, so this would become a different kind of card. And the pocket, of course, automatically had to become a side-loading pocket, as you can see me score here. The technique remains the same. I chose 1/4 inch score lines this time because my paper was smaller. This was only an 8 by 8 inch piece, and I made the fold lines a bit narrower. Also, when I tapered the corners, I didn't just taper one lane, but all 3 lanes, as it were. So that is just a variation. It doesn't matter how you do it. I decided to use some mica spray to add some vaguely metallic effects by way of decoration. And I also wanted to do some stamping using archival ink, of course, so I stamped "Welcome Home." And I did some die cutting, "Time for tea" in Dutch, "Tijd voor thee." And I glued that to the pocket before I closed the pocket. So there you go. Now, because of the inking and the spraying, my paper wasn't straight anymore, so it had warped a bit and it didn't stand up straight anymore. So I decided to have it 24 hours with some weight on top. And that helped, as you can see here. So the card was flattened and it stood up. Now I could add the tea. And there we go. So, hope you like that idea as well. All right, I hope you enjoyed those tutorials. So, to sum it up, 2 cards. This one I created with scrap berries paper. This is from the afternoon tea collection. Guys, I always shop my stash nowadays, so probably chances are you won't be able to get this anywhere, but it's just to give you some idea. So this is a very colorful paper, very upbeat. And the theme is tea, so that was of course perfect. I have to say these 3 teacups, these are a pre-made die cut, let's say. But not from this collection. This is a Bow Bunny die cut. So I had that somewhere in my stash and I thought it was perfect, so I used it. So just to let you know where I got that. And this card with the side loading pocket, the double-sided paper, is by Tim Holtz. And Tim Holtz, for a while he brought out some paper collections. He doesn't do that anymore. I think he hasn't done that for at least 3 or 4 years. But since I have been paper crafting since I think 2013 or something, I have a huge stash. So I have a lot of Tim Holtz papers. One of those is this one. So he brought out these papers with ideology, and this is a very nice background pack. And one of the backgrounds was this one. So these are all different, as you can see, and they are all double-sided. So perfect for these kinds of double-sided projects. So just to let you know, you can use your double-sided papers, these or others, to make your cards without cardstock. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know with a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It will help keep my channel alive. It will hopefully kick the algorithm into shape again and push my videos into your timeline, and also maybe introduce my videos to new subscribers. So I hopefully see you next time, which will be probably within 1 month. Wow. Okay, see you next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.